Urban legend of Death Crash.
According to legend, in the 1930s there was a terrible accident on Brebaker Bridge. 5 cars crashed into each other on the bridge, and all the people in the vehicles were killed on impact. Because the cars crashed in such a remote area, nobody saw it happen, and it remained undiscovered for a whole day. Eventually, after nightfall, a neighboring farmer was driving his tractor down the road and discovered the crash. He immediately alerted the police. When the ambulance came, the workers found a total of 12 dead bodies in the wreck. The bodies were all put into ambulances and brought back to a local funeral home, where they were all identified and given proper burials. After such a tragic accident, the town was eager to try and put the death crash behind them. However, shortly after the accident, the farmer who originally discovered the bodies claimed that every time he crossed Brebaker Bridge, his tractor would suddenly stop for no reason. Then he would hear 13 loud knocks, followed by a strange gurgling and hissing sound. Other locals told the same story. They said they would be driving down the road, and their cars would suddenly stall as they were crossing Brebaker Bridge. This was always followed by someone or something knocking 13 times on the car. And then, right before the car started up again, gurgling and a hissing noise was heard. The farmer began to wonder if the ambulance workers had really recovered all the victims of the death crash. He searched the area around the bridge and eventually wandered into the woods by the side of the road. What he found there chilled him to his very soul. Sitting propped up against a tree, covered in snow, was the dead body of a man. He was frozen stiff. His arms had been eaten away by black bears, leaving only bloody stumps. His mouth was hanging open and his tongue was missing. The farmer had found the 13th victim of the crash. The man had been thrown out of the car in the accident and wound up lying injured by the side of the road. He had been dragged into the woods by black bears who devoured his arms and tongue. The ambulance sirens scared off the black bears, and the man was still alive when the ambulance workers were taking the dead bodies out of the cars. He had been trying to call for help, but his arms and tongue were gone, so nobody could hear him. Today, locals still believe that the ghost of the 13th victim still haunts Brebaker Bridge, stopping any car that dares to cross his path. The ghost beats on the side of the car with the bloody stumps that were once his arms and then tries to call for help. But all that comes out are hisses and gurgles because he doesn't have a tongue.